is going to bring me to Mr. Stephen A. Smith. Mr. Stephen A. Smith is in the news again. And I'm not sure if Stephen does this to troll and get viewership, or he's getting it from his puppet masters because that's who cuts him the check, you know. And I have respect for Stephen A. Smith as a journalist. He's a legendary journalist. You know, you got to give him that sports commentator. You know, I admire what he's contributed to the game, but I don't like when he buck dances. I do not like when Stephen A. buck dances. Now, he is hating on Will Smith. Some people say dry hating, but I'm going to show you what I'm talking about first. So we're going to look at it. And once we look at it, we're going to, after we look at it, I'm going to give my take on it. So he had this to say about Will Smith. Let me share my screen with you. Which one is it? On his show. So he still has a problem with the whole Will Smith slap thing. And this is fair use, by the way. But let's listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say about Will Smith and the Bad Boys, him doing Bad Boys 4 and all this other stuff. Listen to this. Fair use.
When we use the word forgivable or forgiveness, that's for Chris Rock to deal with. It's his call. He could have had the man arrested that night and insisted to the LAPD that not be the case. Could have pressed charges thereafter and insisted on not doing that to Will Smith, not making the incident any bigger than what it was. Yes, he came out with his own foot for next fix, got about 20 million for it. After tax, he probably walked home with about 6. But Chris Rock is damaged. In the day and age of mental illness or traumatic incidences that affects one mind and psyche and what have you, yeah, you might see him at Knicks games. Yeah, you might see him still going about the business of performing on tour or doing his job or handling his business.
All right, let me speed it up a little bit. Let me see.
And talk to the black community. You can see all the
white.
Yeah,
listen to this. This is the point I wanted to get to right here. He says that Will Smith needs to apologize to the black community. Listen to this.
And I'm quite sure the reason he hasn't addressed it is because the studios don't want him to, and there's an obligation that you have with them. All fair. I get it. But somewhere along the way, he has to sit down and talk to the black community. You can see all the white people around Will Smith all you want to. Black folks have loved and revered this man for decades.
Of course. And we still love and revere this man, but keep going.
He was the closest thing to perfection, as his friend Charlie Mack once told me, for decades. Everybody makes a mistake. This is not hatred. I love Will Smith still. But you got to have a conversation.
He has to have a conversation with the black community. Okay. For slapping Chris Rock. Stephen A. Smith says that Will Smith needs to have a conversation with us, the black community, for slapping Chris Rock. Okay. Now, before I give my take, a lot of people lit up Stephen A. They lit him up in the comments and in the video and all that other stuff. And he started to backtrack. He started to backtrack and kind of apologize for going at Will Smith. I'm going to play that video before I give my full take. Where is this one at? All right. So after people lit Stephen A. Smith up, listen to him backtrack on this one. Listen to this. Fair use.
I don't know if I'll ever get over what Will Smith did to Chris.
And keep in mind, this is after he's seen the box office success of Bad Boys 4. It's #1. It grossed 100 million worldwide. It says 56 million opening weekend in the US, but 104 million worldwide. So listen to Stephen A. Smith.
Chris Rock. But that doesn't mean I have to. And it doesn't mean that it's a license for me to negatively impact Will Smith. Will Smith slapping Chris Rock was a devastating thing. I'm not talking just for Chris Rock, who's a friend of mine. I'm talking for the black community because obviously Will Packer was the first black producer to be doing the Oscars in its history. And that was a devastating blow to him. Will Smith came out with Emancipation a year later for Apple and all of that stuff. Will Smith was sensational in that movie. So was Antoine Fuqua. the esteemed director and producer extraordinaire. One could easily argue that both of them would have won an Oscar for that, and that Will slap cost Will Smith and Antoine Fuqua an Oscar. That's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about black folks everywhere aspiring to be in this business, aspiring to succeed.
All right, let's speed this up.
Now they have opportunities, and all because Will Smith is doing what he's doing.
Oh, let me take it back.
They love Martin Lawrence more than me.
Let me take
That
it back to about right here. Sorry about that, y'all.
Never again, he can't make a mistake, Stephen A. When he never made a mistake before. That's a damn good point. Bigger point he made was Martin Lawrence. Because we all look at Martin Lawrence. If you watch Martin from back in the day, ladies and gentlemen, you can't find nobody that loved Martin Lawrence more than me.
True.
That brother is brilliant. That brother has done nothing but create laughs and laughter for us for decades. We should all revere him. And he's the one that brought Will Smith on to Bad Boys. And Will Smith's still doing Bad Boy movies with him because you know he damn sure ain't trying to do it with anybody else. That's love right there. That's loyalty right there. And then you got to take into account the inordinate amount of people who work on a movie and how they're employed and how they have opportunities. And all because Will Smith is doing what he's doing. And then you got to take into account the fact that throughout Will Smith's life, not just his career, there has been exponentially far more good than bad. And I certainly did not mean to gloss over that. I didn't mean to act like that wasn't reality, that didn't happen. And so I really appreciate my man, my brother, Charlie Mack, for calling me and passionately making that case to remind me of what Will Smith is, who he is, and what he has meant to all of us. You see black people gravitating to him. I'm getting text messages and emails all over the place. Who said he lost our support? He never lost it. We didn't like what he did. It was unfortunate what he did. But damn it, we love Will Smith and we forgive him. You don't hear Chris Rock talking about it, complaining about him. Eventually they'll meet and they'll talk, Stephen A. We heard all of that. So I got to stand down.
Exactly. Stand down. Shut up, Stephen A. Smith. Shut up, Stephen A. Smith. Why? Who made you the leader of the black community? Who made you the spokesperson of the black community to say how we feel as a race about what Will Smith did 2 years ago? Shut up, Stephen A. Who asked you? Now, you have the right to voice your opinion on it. If you decide that you don't want to support Will Smith because of what he did and how you felt about him slapping Chris Rock, which is your friend, respectfully, if you feel that way, that is on you. Don't count the black community. What does Will Smith need to apologize to us for? Are there black people who aspire to be just like Will Smith? Absolutely. I aspire to be just like Will Smith. Are there black people who look up to Will Smith? Absolutely. But Will Smith wasn't, first of all, the number one representative of the black community. He wasn't the mascot of the black community. He had a personal moment, and he did that to another black man, unfortunately, but that was at a white orchestrated event. The Oscars is ran by white people. That's owned by white people, even though you had Will Packer producing it. So just because it was a black producer, the fact that Will Smith went up there and slapped another black man, that's supposed to make the black community look bad. You're bug dancing, Stephen A. Smith. Nobody made you the representative of black people. You're not even a black culture, to be honest. You bug dance every chance you get. And this is just me from admiring what you do as far as journalism. But when it comes to race, you sell your people out, brother. All the time. You get to bug dancing, and it's a sad sight to see. But you created this whole issue with Will Smith hating on him. Nobody was really talking about him slapping Chris Rock, something that happened 2 years ago. I'm not saying that it wasn't big or wasn't massive, but the man already apologized. He apologized to Chris and Chris's mother, Chris's family. He did that on video. Now, I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but if Chris Rock ain't bringing it up or talking about it, and I'm not sure what conversations y'all are having since that's your friend, but Will Smith went back to do what he does, which is make movies. So if somebody did something wrong at their job and they've been a great employee all these years, and they made a simple error, simple mistake, and I know physical assault is way different, right? So you mean to tell me they'll never be able to work a job again because they made one simple mistake? One simple mistake. You're not going to give them a chance. And like I said, you're bringing in the black community as if you have a good standing with the black community too, Stephen A. You don't have no legs to walk on in the black community. You bug dance every chance you get. You're always bug dancing. So you don't speak for the black community. You can have your opinion on if you want to support Will Smith. You can say that, but no, that ain't. Shout out to Maya. Maya, you said the way you said, shut up, Stephen A. Shut up, man. Yeah. Family Guy. Shut up, Meg. But yeah, Stephen A. No, we don't have no problem with Will Smith. That's something that happens in the hood, our neighborhoods, our family get-togethers, funerals, weddings, birthday parties, somebody slapping somebody. That happens all the time. That just looked like two relatives fighting. Well, not fighting. Somebody got slapped. I grew up in Mobile, Alabama. I saw people get slapped all the time, and they can be cool afterwards. So you're saying apologize to us, to the black community. He don't need to apologize for what? For what? And for one, like I said, he already apologized publicly he apologized for his behavior, and he apologized to the victim. He apologized to him. What else is he supposed to do? Sit down with the black, and you want him to sit down with the black community. You want him to sit down with us and just say, what? Hey, y'all, I'm sorry, I messed up. What? Stephen A., sit down, man. Sit down. And I'm glad that they lit fire under your ass because you had to backtrack and apologize for that foolishness that you said. It's like, why can't you be happy for his success? Nobody's bringing that up except the white media. Like I said earlier, that article, what article was that? I forgot who said something, but they were saying box office upset. Will Smith scores another movie. The white media, see, he's with the black community now. The black community, Will Smith has been showing love to different platforms. Like I said, the Kev on stages, the influencers, the black podcasts, and different people like that. He's been showing mad love, him and Martin Lawrence. So if somebody's doing good, why as a black person, I can understand white folks doing it, other race groups. Well, why as a black person would you bring that up? But I know why, Stephen A., because you're a bug dancer. You're a bug dancer. That's the reason why. Straight up hate. And I can't even say I'm disappointed in you because I expect like something like that from you, to be honest. But anyway, yeah, that's my take on that. Shut up, Stephen A. Nobody asked you. You don't represent us. First of all, and also black people are not a monolith, right? And like I said, if somebody feels that, hey, I've been bullied before and that was a bully move, I'm not going to support Will Smith, cool. If they say, hey, R. Kelly sexually abused these women, blah, 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 I'm not going to support him, listen to his music anymore, cool. If Chris Brown, somebody says that he beat up on Rihanna, I don't want to support his music anymore, cool. But you can't speak for a whole race group. Like, especially if you don't have any good standing in that race group. That's the main thing, Stephen A. That's the main thing. So again, shut up, Stephen A. All right, so let's move.